Patience. Patience is something that all traders need. It's something that, if you've been trading, understand that it is something that you absolutely need, and if you don't have it, you'll end up revenge trading, thinking the market is after you. It's just not good. You need patience. You have to break down exactly why you don't have patience. To me, the main thing of why someone doesn't have patience is FOMO. The reason you have FOMO is because you're thinking about the money. The reason you're thinking about the money is because that's the reason you're into trading in the first place, is because you know that it has like infinite, well not infinite, but you know it can make a shit ton of money. And that's the problem. You have to think about the process. All traders have heard this. Most of them. Process over money. When you think about the money, execution goes downhill. You take setups that are not your setups, so mistake trades. Then you get angry and think the market is after you because you lose them, and you're just thinking short term. So that's the first reason, FOMO. The second reason that a trader doesn't have patience is because they'll take a trade, they'll lose that trade, they'll think the market is after them because it came down, hit their stop perfectly, they lost money, and then it went to their target. And now they think that the market is after them, and somebody can actually see their screen as if they're coming after them specifically, which is a crazy thought looking back on the day when you think of it like that. In the moment, maybe it's justified, even though it's completely irrational. The reason that happens, well, first of all, you're angry. So you have a lack of patience because you got angry at the market. So the real problem is anger. You got angry because you lost. You don't like losing. Why do you not like losing? Nobody likes losing, but there's a deeper reason to why you don't like losing. Do you like to just be right? Is your identity being right? Do you want to make money now because you see other people making money and you feel like you're falling behind and you're stuck in this rat race? In order to fix this, you actually have to fix your anger. The reason you're angry is because of a problem in the way you think. Your reality is not real. You think it's reality, but it's not actually real. It's not real. So you have to change the way you think. Instead of thinking the market's after me, you have to think, okay, this is another one of the block of trades that I'm in at this moment. Let's say you're on like number 8, and a block is 20 trades, let's say. I like to use 20. 10 is a good number, but 20 seems to be enough to really have a collective amount of trades to get good, solid data on whether your edge is good or not. So it really comes down to not thinking long term. You have to think long term. You can't think short term. If you think I want to make money now, today, I want to make back what I just lost, that's short term thinking. And you're not going to get very far in trading if you think like that. The third reason why somebody lacks patience in trading is because they don't have confidence in their setups long term. So like for me, I have 2 setups. Someone else might have 3, 4, 5 setups. I've narrowed mine down to one setup that I take 85% of the time, and then another setup I take 15% of the time, something like that. Through months and years of trading to get me to this point and back testing, I have confidence within my setup. So if I lose 2 or 3 in a row, or I miss an opportunity that was my edge, let's say, or I miss an opportunity that just wasn't my edge, and I'm bothered by it. Well, I'm not really that bothered by it at this point. because I know it's not my edge. And I know even if that trade won, which is the only reason you would be bothered by it, if it did win and you're like, damn, I could have made money today. If it lost, you say to yourself, that was a good idea to not take that. So it's all result driven. That's the first problem. You got to think process driven. Instead of thinking for the next year, I want to make this amount of money, I want to nail my execution most of the time. I want to take my trades that are available, and I don't want to take trades that are not my edge. If I can do that, I'll make it long term. So that's the mindset that you really want. The reason somebody doesn't have confidence in their setup is because they don't have enough back testing on it. They don't have enough real-time experience as it's happening. Those two things are really the main things. And because of that, you have a lack of confidence. So if you lack confidence in your setup, you have to ask yourself, is it because I don't have enough data yet? Like real time, me pressing the button? Have I back tested this strategy? Does it work over time? If it does work over time, let's say, right? But you haven't actually clicked the button for those trades, then you can move on to, okay, once I get enough data, by like me clicking the button, then I should be confident over time that this is my setup and the rest, there will be noise. Have the mindset of there will be noise in other trades that are not my edge, but I can't capitalize on every single move. I'll be just taking random trades because they're winning. Or like, you see them winning, but you don't actually know what they look like when it comes to taking that specific trade 20 times. Maybe you only saw the one time it won out of the last 7, 8 trades. But your edge is like a 50% win rate instead of a 20% win rate. But you just happen to remember the one that won. You don't see the ones that didn't win. The ones that didn't win, you're cool, you're actually happy that you didn't take them because they lost. You're money driven. You have to be process driven. And then all of a sudden you don't have these emotional, volatile events happening. You're more stable confidence. Emotional volatility comes in when you don't truly know your edge and you're following money instead of the process. If you know your edge and you follow the process, you're very stable. And to my fourth and final point, people think about the money. I understand. The reason you got into trading is because of the money. Same with me. But you have to understand that in order to go towards the money, you have to go towards the process. So my fourth reason people don't have patience is because they're thinking about the money and not the process. Process over money. This can be a hard thing to understand because the number one reason you got into trading is because you see the potential in it, the freedom, the scalability. To me, it's the scalability, the crunch time that it needs, or that it takes. Yes, it can be very difficult to learn it mentally over time and really be mentally dialed in for months and years at a time. That takes a lot of time to understand. Because on paper, you just click a button when it's your edge, and when it doesn't show your edge, you just don't take it. And you just keep taking them in wins and losses, and that's how it goes, right? But mentally, there's a lot of shit that happens that you have to learn. And that's probably the hardest part. Once you've learned the technical, then the main thing is the mental. So, process over money. If you have to write it down, like I have pieces of paper that I've written down in those moments where, whatever, you're angry, you're bothered at something, whether you made a decision or you didn't make a decision, and that caused your brain to go all out of whack. So I got it written down. The major things that I need to fix, or even things that I really am confident on that they are fixed. I'm keeping them there to remind myself, and I'm reading them before the trading session starts. Like for me, I It's about capitalizing on most of the move, not all of it. Because if you're thinking about capitalizing on the entire move, you're thinking about the money. I want to be process driven, and I want to think about a block of trades. Lots of trades put together. So if I could just capture the majority of the trade, it's all good. If the trade keeps going, I don't have this, oh, I should have put it there, I knew it. I don't have those thoughts. I just think, cool, I captured a good percentage of it. All good. I'm out of the market. Keep scaling it up. That's everything. And then I got another one that says, I don't care how good it looks. Don't take a trade if it doesn't come to your level. Your edge requires it to come to your level. Because I was taking a trade. I took a trade at one point that it didn't come to my full level. And then I lost the trade. Not that you have to be thinking like if that trade won, the truth is I should have not taken that trade. It wasn't fully my edge. You have to have specific requirements for your edge. Like I have specific requirements. Somebody else has a different edge. Like you're going to have a different edge probably, with a different set of requirements. And that's fine. You just have to stick to it. You have to know it. You have to know your edge. If you don't know your edge, you're going to have emotional volatility. If you really know your edge, you stay confident even if you lose 3, 4 in a row. You just know that maybe the next 4 could be winners. Like that's the mindset. So I do want to drill home that the process, if you think about the process and you stop thinking about the money, you're going to be a lot more emotionally stable. And that's pretty big. You're not going to be as drained. You're not going to get burned out. You're going to be motivated to keep pushing through because it doesn't take that much effort to dig yourself out of this crazy hole you're in your head. You never dug yourself that deep. Why would I get upset over money? Money doesn't get upset about me. That can be a hard thing to understand, but if you really think about it, why am I allowing this money to control the way I think? True freedom is not allowing this money to dictate my thought process or the way I feel. It's just something that's happening in the background. The trading is like software that's happening in the background. Like I know people who are watching this are probably not into bodybuilding, but same thing with bodybuilding. It's like I'm doing my entire day, but in the background there's software going on about my training session coming up today or tomorrow, or the meal that I have to eat coming up. That's happening in the background. It's not consuming my mind because there's other things to do throughout the day. So in trading, it's something that's just happening in the background. Understand that it's a long game. One more thing I want to add is that the decision that you're about to make, whether to take this trade or not to take this trade, is that a good decision to keep you trading for the next 10 years or 20 years? If it's a good decision, if it's your edge, take the trade. Even if you lose it, it's not about losing. It's about seeing. You have to really see the block of trades. You have to see the next couple of months and how those winners and losers are going to be stacked together. And that's the final outcome. You can't think short term. And the problem is that as humans, we think short term because if we don't think short term, we could die. Who cares about the future if we don't think about right now in a survival aspect? So evolutionary wise, we're not really programmed to trade and think long term. It's just about now. But as humans, we're smart enough to understand that we have to reconfigure the way we think in order to get the outcome that we want. In order to get the outcome you want in trading, which is lots of money, which is what people get into trading for, that's really it, and freedom, not doing massive days of work where you can't scale, and you're working for somebody else, and they dictate how much you get paid, and it's not based off of performance. Trading is about performance. That's why people like it. It's about the only person you have to rely on is yourself. And I love that about trading. So, patience is key. You got to have it. FOMO, can't have that. Market is coming after you, not real. You have to have confidence in your setup, which means you have to have real-time data as well as back testing it. And then process over money, man. That's really it.